Morning. Morning, everyone, and welcome to today's webinar, which is going to be Maximise Your Margins, Effective Use of Pricing Profiles with StoreFeeder. This is the first in a series of webinars we'll be putting on and showing you how to get more out of StoreFeeder and showcasing features that you're perhaps not aware of, if you've not seen before. I'm Jack. Some of you will probably know me already. I'm a StoreFeeder product knowledge expert. I've been at StoreFeeder for 12 years now. I started off working in support, became the onboarding manager, and now I've moved into the marketing side of the business. And today we'll delve into how pricing profiles in StoreFeeder can streamline your operations and boost your profitability. We are recording the presentation, so it will be available for you to watch again or review at a later date. So let's go on to the agenda. This is what we'll be covering today. So we'll start out with an introduction to pricing profiles, so what it is essentially. Then we'll look at why you should be using them, how to create a pricing profile, adding pricing profiles to your listings, and then applying pricing profiles to your listings in bulk, a case study, so how a customer's used pricing profiles in the past, and best practices for using pricing profiles, and then finally a little Q&A session to answer any questions you might have got after seeing the presentation. So let's start with the basics. What are pricing profiles? In StoreFeeder, pricing profiles allow you to automate your pricing strategies based on various criteria. Whether you easily need to keep your prices consistent across multiple sales channels, or want to easily apply situational price changes using pricing profiles, will simplify the process. Features and benefits. So why should I be using pricing profiles? Flexibility, customized pricing based on channel supplier cost and item demand using versatile formulas. You can create a pricing profile to meet almost any pricing action that you require of it. Pricing profiles are versatile enough to be as complex or as simple as you want. So you can use them to, from really simple repricing all the way up to complicated formulas with multiple actions within them. They are also great for time saving. So you're going to spend less time having to manually go through and reprice your products and more time growing your business. You won't have to export individual spreadsheets or find individual listings and update them all manually. You'll just change your prices or data in one location and it feeds out to everything from there. It'll also give you a competitive edge because you can adjust prices dynamically to stay competitive without manual intervention. Again, so if you've got large products that need to have their pricing changed, you can do this incredibly quickly to meet market trends. Or as an example, if you've got a better price with a supplier at a certain point than your competitors, you can quickly reflect that better price on channel within minutes. Obviously I've touched on it a little bit here, but automation. So you're changing it in one location. You're not having to go through and do all your eBay channels or your Amazon channels. You're just doing it once, say on a product, and it pushes out to everywhere. So it's a single point you have to manage. You're not having to manage large groups of listings or large groups of prices across multiple different locations. Right, so we'll look at how you'd actually create a pricing profile in StoreFeeder now. So first you'll go to settings, pricing profiles. If you can't see it, it just means that it's not been enabled on your account. It might not have been, but you just want to get in touch with the support team. They'll be able to enable it, and it's available for all StoreFeeder customers. If you have used it before, you may see some existing pricing profiles like we've got in this example, but if more than likely you won't, so it will just be there won't be anything in there, and you just want to click the green button in the top right to begin creating a new one. So first thing you want to do is name the pricing profile. So a good method for naming, because this will be how you'll reference and work out what your pricing profiles are applied to things that once they're all set up, is to use the formula that you've put into the pricing profile as the name. So you can easily identify exactly what it is and what it's doing. This is also the name that's used when you're updating the spreadsheet, if you're doing it in bulk, for example. So you want something that you can easily see what it is. Once you've set the name, you want to set the price end strategy. So this is sometimes called psychological pricing or charm pricing. You can decide how the result of the formula is rounded up or down. So, for example, if it's rounded up and the formula comes out with a price of £10 and you've set 99 as your pricing point, it will round up to 10.99 automatically. So the available price end strategies are always round up. So it'll always round up to the value you've specified. Like in that example I've just said, if it's £10, it will round up to 10.99, or if it's 9.98, it will round up to 9.99. You've then got the opposite to this to round down. So if you've got £10 as your formula result, it will round down to 9.99, and then if it was 9.98, it would round down to 8.99, so it would go all the way down to the next 99 available. And the third type is midpoint rounding. So this will always round to the closest given decimal you've specified. So £10 would round down to 9.99, but 10.50 would round up to 10.99. You can also have more than one price endpoint in a pricing profile. So you may want to have one set to 99, so it would round to that, but then you may also have a round to 49 as well. So it would round down or up to that, depending on if the formula result is closer to the 99 or the 49. To enter those, you just type them in and press enter, and I'll add it to the profile. You can now either select a template from the pre-made ones. So there's a few that already exist in StoreFeeder, sort of more standard pricing profile templates. These are, well, some of them are average cost plus margin plus packaging cost. You've got priority supplier cost plus packaging cost plus the margin as a percentage, and then RRP plus margin plus packaging costs. A lot of the time, though, you may just want to create a custom pricing profile using the tokens on the right of the page. So you would just double click on those tokens, it'll enter it into the formula box, and then you would add whether you want it to multiply, divide, add, whatever you need it to do with other pricing profile, other tokens or actions that you're adding to the formula. The tokens pull data directly from your products, so they'll tie to the fields that you've got on the product, and you can easily work out where it's coming from. Some of the tokens available, some of the more useful ones perhaps are channel fees percentage, days since last sold. So you can look at creating formulas with, perhaps slower moving products, reprice them if they're not selling well. Some of component prices if you're working with a lot of kits, or weight if you're shipping heavier items and you know that if an item's over 5 kilograms, for example, it's going with a particular courier, so you want to put a bit on top of that to cover the extra postage cost. These formulas also work in the same way as those in Microsoft Excel. So if you've worked with Excel formulas in the past, you'll find that these are quite familiar, and because they're similar to that. Once you've set up your formula, StoreFeeder will have some example data in there and then show you the result of the formula that you've set up. So if you've got a rough idea of what you want it to do, it'll give you, an indication as to whether you've got the formula right, basically. So in this example, we've used average cost plus margin plus packaging costs. So it's adding those three items together and giving us the new listing price of £12.49. But because we've got the price end strategy set as always round up to 99, it's rounded it up to £12.99, and as that's what I expected it to do in the example, it's right. And if you're happy with it, you just click save to complete the pricing profile. So just to quickly recap that, you'll want to create and name the new pricing profile, set your pricing strategy, select a template and add your custom pricing profiles formula, or whichever you decide to do. And then finally check your result. And if you're happy with it, you've got a pricing profile that's good to go. Now we'll look at applying them to listings individually. I mean, obviously you won't want to do this to every listing, but it's good to understand how it works at an individual listing level. So find the listing that you want to apply it to the normal way. You just manage listings, manage listings, search for the SKU you want to update and click edit. That'll take you onto the manage listings page. And because you've got pricing profiles enabled now, you'll see there's a broken chain link next to the price. And that indicates you've got access to pricing profiles and you've got some set up. So To apply the pricing profile, click on that link, and it'll bring up a little window with your existing pricing profiles in it. So here we've got 3 of them that have been created, including the one we looked at in the example before. So average cost plus margin plus packaging costs. And you want to select the one you want to apply. You'll now see the formula again with it applied to the listing that you're looking at. So in this instance, once we've applied that pricing profile, it's decided that the calculated price is 124.74 pence. So you'll know roughly whether that's what you're expecting it to be for that item. You want to check it, just in case you've used the wrong pricing profile or there's some data that's wrong in there. Once you're happy with that, you can start to set the minimum and maximum allowed prices for this item. So these basically just are a little safety net to make sure that it's not going to reprice the listing below or above what you actually want to be selling it for. Because you don't want to have the item listed on channel at an incorrect price. So once you're happy with that data, you just click update, and that'll apply it to the listing. And you'll now see that the chain link icon has been is now connected, joined up, and the listing itself is unavailable to be edited, meaning that the listing price itself is unavailable to be edited, meaning that the pricing profile is in effect, and this listing's pricing is coming from that. And then you just click save and upload as you normally would to update a listing, and that'll send it straight to channel for you. So to recap that again, find the listing and you want to add the pricing profile to, click the broken chain link icon next to the price, select the pricing profile from the list, check the calculated price is correct, set the minimum and maximum allowed prices if you want them, and then save and upload to apply the changes to your listings. But obviously, sort of touched on there, you don't want to be applying your listings, applying pricing profiles to listings individually, because you could have tens or hundreds of thousands of them. So you're not going to want to do that. And obviously, with StoreFeeder, you can update these in bulk. I'm sure a lot of you have used the listing import export feature before, so you'll be familiar with that. So to update your pricing profiles using it, you would just go to the listings import export feature, select the channel that you want to set the pricing profiles up for, and then you'll want the default fields. So that will be listing ID, listing SKU, product SKU. You might want product name as well, just so you can see what it is exactly. And then to set the pricing profile information up, you want pricing profiles and then minimum and maximum allowed price. Once you've got that data, if you just hit export, and you'll get the CSV file as normal. So what you'll want to set to add the pricing profile is the pricing profile column here, and then use the pricing profile name that you created earlier as the example. So again, we've got average cost plus margin plus packaging costs, and you would just put that against every listing that you want to apply it to. If you're unsure of what to enter or what the format needs to be, a good tip is to manually apply it to a pricing profile like we looked at, and then export the file with that listing in it, and you'll see exactly how StoreFeeder is set it up in the spreadsheet and what it wants for when you do it, and how to re-import it. So once you've filled the pricing profile name in, you can set any minimum and maximum as well, if you're using those against those listings. Once you've done that, save the file, and you just upload it to StoreFeeder to update your listings, as any listing spreadsheet would work in the same way. So set update to channel, upload the file. Because you've exported the file from StoreFeeder itself, it'll have the mappings that, it will map automatically and work straight away. You shouldn't have to actually manually set anything. And then click save and upload. That'll send the information to channel, and you should see the prices start to change on your listings within sort of 50 minutes or so. And again, just to recap that, use the listing import export feature to update them in bulk, select the pricing profiles and the minimum max field to export. You'll have your spreadsheet with your listings, edit your spreadsheet to add the pricing profile name and minimum maximum pricing that you want to add, and then re-import the file, and the changes will be applied to the listings and new prices pushed to channel. So that's a lot easier than doing it individually, and just allows you to be a lot quicker with your price changes and react to anything faster. So right, let's have a look at a case study of how a customer has used pricing profiles to overcome an issue they had. So they had a requirement that where they needed to increase the pricing of a product when the inventory of a product went below a certain level. So in this case, if the stock of the product was less than 10, they wanted the listing price to be increased by £5. We'll look at it in implementation, and because pricing profiles work with Excel formulas or something similar, we worked out, decided you could have an if statement that changes the stock of a product once the changes the price of the listing once the stock of the product falls below a certain amount. So this is the formula. So it starts off with the normal sort of average cost plus margin plus packaging costs formula. So it's got that information. And then we added the if part. So how it works is, if I put that onto that, there we go. So it's basically saying that I want you to add the average cost to the margin to the packaging costs, then look at what the product's inventory is. And if the product's inventory is less than 10, so in this case it's 6, we want to add 5. And if it's more than 6, so if it's not less than 10, add 0, which then gives us £14.63 as the pricing profile. And that worked really well for the customer. It met the needs, it hit the requirement they wanted, and we actually added this one as a default formula to StoreFeeder because it was so useful. So this is just sort of an example of what you can do with the formulas with pricing profiles. You can kind of, like I sort of said at the start, get as creative with them as you want, or just be as basic, because some people do just have a pricing profile that's the product price linked directly to it. So when they update the product price, it automatically updates the listing price, and it's the simplest way you can use it. But again, it's a really effective way of looking at it. So what are some of the best practices for using profiles now that you know what they are and how to set them up? Segmentation. So you can tailor your pricing strategies to different customer segments or sales channels. So you may be selling on marketplaces that have a listing fee, and you want to include that listing fee into your pricing profile. So it might be 10% more expensive on that channel you're selling on than what you're selling on your own website, but you don't have to then manually go through and update each listing to have that price percentage built into it. You just do it with pricing profiles. Monitoring and adjustment. So you can regularly view and tweak your profiles based on market trends and competitor analysis. You could use it to price against competitors and stay competitive on all the marketplaces and channels that you're selling on. Integration. So pricing profiles will work with every platform that StoreFeeder's got as a sales channel. So I think it's 63 channels that this would work with. So any integration or marketplace you're selling into through StoreFeeder, you'll be able to leverage pricing profiles with it. Right. Q&A time. Yeah, I think there would have been some questions added, put in the chat earlier on. So if we've got any, I can have a look at answering some of them.
Can you hear me, Jack?
Oh, sorry, Dan, I can't hear you for some reason.
Not sure if you can hear me, Jack, but no questions at the moment. But if anybody else can hear me, then any questions you do have, you can email them over to us. If you're an existing customer, I'd send them over to support@storefeeder.com. Anything
Oh, here we go.
new?
Cool.
Oh.
I know that there aren't any tokens for exchange rates. So, sorry, the question is, are there any tokens for exchange rates? There aren't, but I believe that the way it works is it uses your channel. No, it uses your account pricing and then applies the exchange rate or the conversion to it once it's done the formula. So I suppose it depends what you need the exchange rates for in the formula itself. I mean, it's not to say that we can't look at adding them. It's definitely something I can ask support about and see if there's any way of getting them added to the account. Does this work for Tesco? Yes. Yeah, it will work for Tesco because this is a good question. Does Tesco have a listing upload? Yeah, I might have to check that one and see if someone will come and give me the answer to that. Would there ever be a token for shorter sales periods, i.e. sold in the last day? So I think the current sales periods on the product are 30, 60 and 90 days. So there isn't one at the minute for anything that's a lower period of time than that. I don't know if it's going to be added in the future. If it is added and there's that sort of information available on the product, then we can certainly look at adding a token for it. As long as it's got as long as the data's on the product, we can see that data, then we should be able to use a token with it. And then we've got, does this work on BigCommerce? Yeah, it will work on BigCommerce. Yeah, BigCommerce has got listing uploads and listing updates, so it should be fine. I think we're about to get my answer to that question. Tesco does have pricing update, but yeah, cool. We'll just check. We'll check it works, but yeah, it should work. Does this work when the unit price is for multiples? I.e., our cost price would be 1 for outer, but then 10 units in the outer. We can't currently use cost price field as it multiplies the cost. I don't know the answer to that one. That might be one that you want to speak to support about and look at it at a particular that as a particular example, because there are tokens to work with kits, but I'm not sure if you mean that that's a kit or not. It sounds like it's like a bundle, so it could work. I reckon there'll be a way of doing it. No kit, okay. Yeah, we need to look at that one. Let me. I'll speak to support after this, Claire, and I'll ask them, and then hopefully someone will be able to get in touch and have a look at it for you. So if there's no token, one thing you can do is use an unused section in the system, like margin. That's a good point, actually. Yeah, because it's it's a little bit of a workaround, but it's basically because it's a free field, you can use that to apply it to other parts of the pricing profiles and something else that you need. But yeah, that's a good hack, actually. Who said that, Kieran? Yeah, cool. Claire, do you have to work out the price for one? I suppose you could use that margin hack, you know. I suppose that's why it's posted. Yeah, I'll check with support after this one. I'm not actually sure of the answer, so I'm not gonna guess. Sorry, Mr. Starters. Yeah, this is recorded. It will be available as a VOD after the webinar's done. I'm not sure when, probably early next week, I think, because I think I'm editing it, so it'll when I'm able to get around to it. Cool. Any other questions or anything? Might have to do this as the last one. Is it possible to set up custom tokens for global variants, things that would apply across different rules? Tokens for global variants. I'm not sure how that would work, because the channel sales tax. Yeah, it's going to be, it's a listing on a listing basis. Oh, Q&A tab. Cool. Yeah, it's on the listing basis, so I don't think you'd be able to set it up as a global for global variants like that. Q&A, cool, found it. Right. Mentioned earlier about Amazon and eBay, which are RMAs. How often will the Amazon listing price be updated? So the actual listing price is sent up as just part of the normal listing update. So it would be the same frequency that it's updated as now. It's just when you add the pricing profile, there's a pricing profile change to the listing, it triggers it for update and updates it to the channel. If you want to set a specific price against a single listing, do you simply unlink the pricing profile? Yeah. So it's not permanent. You just take the pricing profile off the listing, you go, I want this to be this price. I don't want it to change, and it will just do that. And oh, is this live now? It may be that you just need to speak to support. It was at the start. I think you might have missed the start. It's no problem. But if you speak to support, they'll be able to enable pricing profiles for you, and yeah, you'll have access to that this afternoon. Well, as soon as you speak to them, it's instant, and you'll be able to start doing pricing profiles this afternoon if you want to. Cool. I think that might be everything. Brilliant. Cool. So, right. Thank you for your questions. There's some actually covered in there that I had to think about and get some help with. So that's always good. And right, the next webinar. So the next one we want to do is for product creation. We don't have a date for it yet, but we will we'll put a message out in the software. We'll do invitations, so you'll be able to join that. It'll probably be, I'd expect it to be next month now. And if you need to get in touch to hello@storefeeder.com for sort of the general inquiries, or if you're wanting to find out more information about pricing profiles, how to add your account, get in touch with the support team through the ticketing system, and they will be able to help you. So yeah, thank you for your time. I hope you found the webinar helpful, and enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.